All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into workout nutrition.
Yeah,
How's it going?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I am so excited for this topic. I feel like a lot of times when we're trying to optimize our workouts,
Right.
we focus so much on the actual exercise itself,
Yeah,
but what we eat plays a huge role too.
absolutely a huge role.
And that's what we're going to unpack today.
Yeah. Looking at pre and post workout nutrition.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly. So we're going to be looking at an article from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics.
okay.
It's called Timing Your Pre- and Post-Workout Nutrition.
Kitschy.
And it was reviewed pretty recently in July 2024.
Oh, wow. So it's up to date.
Yes, very up to date. And I think this is going to be super valuable for everyone listening, whether you're a seasoned athlete or just starting out.
Yeah, definitely.
So one of the things that really jumped out at me from this article was the emphasis on carbs,
Mm.
which, sometimes gets a bad rap in the health and fitness world.
It really does, yes.
But the article makes it clear that carbs are actually crucial
Yes.
for fueling our workouts.
They're your energy source, right? They're the fuel that powers your muscles.
I like the fuel that powers our muscles.
When you exercise, your body uses stored carbohydrates called glycogen to keep those muscles going.
Glycogen, okay, I've heard that term before, but
Yeah.
can you break it down a little bit more? Like, what exactly is glycogen?
So basically, glycogen is how your body stores carbohydrates for energy.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like your muscle's personal energy reserve.
I like that. So we're storing it up, and then
Yeah.
when we work out, that's what we're tapping into.
Exactly. As you work out, you start depleting those glycogen stores.
Okay, so it's like a gas tank
Yeah, you got it.
that's slowly emptying out as we exercise.
Yep. And if you run out of glycogen, well,
Hit a wall.
you hit the wall exactly, that feeling of fatigue, and like you just can't go any further.
Oh, yeah. I know that feeling all too well.
You've all been there.
So the article recommends eating a meal or snack with carbs 1 to 4 hours before a workout. Now, that seems like a pretty wide range.
Yeah, it is.
Is there like a sweet spot within that, or does it really just depend on the person?
It really depends on the individual. What works for one person might not work for another.
Okay, that makes sense.
You got to factor in things like the intensity and duration of your workout, what you're actually doing,
Okay.
what you ate before,
Uh-huh.
and even just how your body responds to food.
Yeah, because sometimes I know if I eat too close to a workout,
Oh, yeah.
it's not a good situation.
Not at all.
Like I feel sluggish.
You get that uncomfortable feeling, right? You get maybe some GI distress.
Yeah, exactly. And then your performance suffers.
Yeah, because instead of all that energy going towards your workout, it's going towards digesting.
Right. It's like our body's trying to do two things at once.
Yeah, it's multitasking and not doing either one very well.
Multitasking failed.
Exactly. So you really want to give your body enough time to digest before you start exercising.
Gotcha. So experiment. Find that sweet spot that works for you.
Yeah, that's the key.
Well, the article does give us some pre-workout meal suggestions.
Okay, good, because I need ideas.
Me too, and they're all pretty simple and familiar.
Okay, what do they say?
Things like a peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Oh, yeah, classic.
Greek yogurt with berries, oatmeal with some low-fat milk and fruit.
All good stuff.
I mean, those are things that most of us already have in our kitchens.
Yeah, pretty accessible, and they're tasty, too.
Exactly.
I used to eat a peanut butter and banana sandwich before every soccer game in high school. I
Really?
swear it was my secret weapon.
Interesting. So what makes these pre-workout snacks so effective?
Well, they all combine carbohydrates for fuel with a bit of protein for muscle repair and growth.
Okay, so we're getting that energy from the carbs,
Yes,
and then the protein is helping our muscles recover.
exactly. A winning combination.
Now, what about after a workout?
Post-workout nutrition.
That's important too, right?
Yeah. Equally important, you've worked hard. You've depleted those glycogen stores. You need to replenish them.
So what's the timeline there? Like how soon after a workout should we be eating?
Ideally, aim to eat something within an hour of finishing your workout.
Okay, so that's the window.
That's the prime time for recovery.
All right, and what are some good post-workout options?
Well, the article suggests things like a recovery smoothie with protein powder and fruit,
That sounds good.
or a turkey on whole grain wrap with veggies,
Okay, more substantial.
if you're really hungry or had a really intense workout.
But you know what really caught my eye in the article?
What's that?
The chocolate milk.
Oh, yeah.
I would have never thought of that as a recovery drink.
It's true. It's kind of surprising, but it actually makes a lot of sense.
Tell me why.
So chocolate milk, it's got the perfect ratio of carbs to protein, which is what you need after a workout to replenish glycogen and rebuild muscle.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about satisfying my sweet tooth.
Well, it can be that too,
Uh-huh.
but it really is an effective way to refuel your body.
And plus, It's got electrolytes, which we lose through sweat.
Absolutely.
Well,
Which are essential for hydration and muscle function.
Okay, I am sold on the chocolate milk.
Right.
So it's all about being strategic with what we eat and when we eat it,
Yeah.
both before and after those workouts.
That's the key takeaway here.
All right. So we've learned a lot about the importance of carbs and protein, the timing of our meals and snacks, and even the surprising benefits of chocolate milk. But there's still so much more to cover.
Oh, yeah, we're just getting started.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more insights on workout nutrition.
Welcome back.
We are back and ready to keep diving into this workout nutrition stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about, those general guidelines for pre and post workout.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit more about personalizing this.
Yeah,
Because I'm sure what works for one person doesn't work for everyone.
absolutely. You're right. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Okay, so how do we go about figuring out what works best for our own bodies?
Well, first, you got to consider a few things like your activity level. How intense are your workouts?
Mm.
How long are they? Are you someone who sweats a lot?
Okay.
And of course, your own individual dietary needs and preferences.
So like someone who's lactose intolerant probably shouldn't be downing chocolate milk after every workout.
Right, exactly. You got to listen to your body and find what feels good for you.
So it's all about experimenting.
It really is trial and error. Try different pre-workout snacks.
Okay.
See how they impact your energy levels. Try different post-workout meals and see how you recover.
It's like finding the perfect pair of running shoes.
I like that analogy.
You got to try a few different ones until you find what fits just right.
Exactly. And if you're really struggling or just want some expert guidance, don't hesitate to reach out to a registered dietitian.
Yeah, like a nutrition pro.
Exactly. They can help create a personalized plan that's tailored to your specific needs and goals.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go back to that pre-workout timing for a second. We talked about that 1 to 4 hour window, but let's be real. Sometimes life gets in the way.
It does.
Like I know a lot of people who work out first thing in the morning,
Yeah,
and squeezing in a full meal before a 6 a.m. workout is just not happening.
not always feasible. No.
So what's the advice for those early morning workouts?
So even a small snack before an early workout can make a big difference.
Okay.
Think a piece of fruit, maybe some nuts, a quick smoothie, something light and easy to digest.
So we're not talking a full-on breakfast spread.
No, not at all. Just something to give your body a little boost before you start sweating.
Okay, and then you can have a more substantial meal afterward.
Exactly when you have more time.
Now, speaking of that post-workout window,
Yes.
we talked about the importance of eating within an hour.
Yes, that's key.
But what's actually happening in our bodies during that time that makes it so crucial?
So your muscles are most receptive to nutrients in that hour after a workout.
Oh.
They're primed to soak up all the good stuff to help them recover and rebuild.
So it's like a sponge,
Yes, exactly.
ready to absorb everything we give it.
And if we wait too long to eat, we're missing out on that prime absorption time.
Gotcha. So what happens if we miss that window? Are we totally out of luck?
It's not the end of the world if you can't eat right away, but delaying that post-workout meal for too long can slow down the recovery process.
Okay.
You might experience more muscle soreness. You might feel more fatigued.
So it's all about optimizing that recovery.
Exactly.
Now, we talked about chocolate milk being a good option.
Yeah, a surprisingly good option.
But what about people who can't have dairy or prefer a plant-based alternative?
Plenty of options out there.
Yeah.
A plant-based protein shake with berries is a great choice.
Okay.
You get that protein for muscle repair carbs, for energy, and all the good antioxidants from the berries.
So delicious and nutritious.
Exactly. Or you could go for a turkey sandwich on whole grain bread, another classic.
Oh, yeah, with some veggies on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, what about those people who are doing like really intense workouts?
Yeah, like marathon runners or CrossFit enthusiasts.
Yeah, do their nutrition needs change at all?
They need to pay even closer attention to their overall calorie intake
Okay.
and their macronutrient ratios.
Meaning they need to eat more?
Well, they need to eat more calories, yes, because they're burning so many more.
Right.
They also need a higher percentage of carbohydrates in their diet to keep those glycogen stores topped up.
Okay. And what about electrolytes? We touched on those earlier.
Electrolytes are essential for everyone, but they're especially important for endurance athletes because they lose so much through sweat.
So remind me again, what exactly are electrolytes?
They're minerals like sodium, potassium, magnesium, and they play a key role in things like muscle function, nerve function, and hydration.
Okay, so super important.
Yes, and when we sweat, we lose them, so we need to replenish them.
Especially during those longer more intense workouts.
Exactly.
And that's where sports drinks come in, right?
They can be helpful in those situations, yes, because they contain electrolytes along with carbohydrates for energy.
So it's not just about chugging water in those cases.
Water is important, of course, but you also need to replenish those electrolytes.
Okay, good to know. Now, one last thing I wanted to touch on from the article.
Yeah.
This is a big one. They emphasize the importance of never trying anything new on game day.
Oh, absolutely. So true.
Right, like don't experiment with a new pre-workout snack or hydration strategy right before a big race.
Yeah. You don't know how your body's going to react. Could be disastrous.
So stick to what you know works for you.
Exactly. Game day is not the time for experimenting.
Save that for your training days.
Yeah. Figure out what works best for you during your regular workouts and then stick to that routine when it matters most.
All right, so much good advice here.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about personalizing our nutrition, the importance of hydration,
Yeah.
those all-important electrolytes, and the golden rule of no new things on game day.
Yeah.
But there's still more to discuss, right?
Oh, yeah. We have more to dive into.
All right, we are back for the final part of our deep dive on workout nutrition.
Yes. Part 3.
I feel like we've covered so much already.
We
But there's one thing that I feel like we haven't really talked about in depth, and that's hydration.
Oh, yeah. Hydration's super important. Can't forget about that.
Of course, we all know to drink water, right?
Yeah.
But is there more to it than that? Is there like a science to hydration?
There is more to it than just drinking water, you know?
Okay.
Our bodies are mostly water, right?
Right.
So we need to keep those fluids up, especially when we're exercising and sweating.
So how much should we be drinking? Like, what are the recommendations, especially when we're working out?
So a good rule of thumb is to drink about 17 ounces of water a couple hours before you exercise.
Okay.
And then during your workout, aim for 7 to 10 ounces every 10 to 20 minutes.
Wow. So pretty consistently throughout.
Yeah, got to stay ahead of that sweat loss.
And after the workout, what's the magic number?
Replenish those fluids with another 16 to 24 ounces.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just about like chugging a bottle of water once we're done.
Nope, it's about consistent hydration throughout the whole process.
Before, during, after.
Exactly.
Now, what about sports drinks?
Ah, yes. The age-old question.
Are they necessary? Are they just glorified sugar bombs, or is there a time and a place for them?
So for most people, doing moderate intensity exercise for an hour or less water is probably enough.
Okay.
But if you're sweating a lot or working out for longer periods of time, those electrolytes we talked about earlier become super important.
Yeah.
And sports drinks can help replenish those electrolytes along with providing some carbohydrates for energy.
So it's about knowing our limits and adjusting our hydration strategy accordingly.
Exactly. If you're just going for a light jog water is probably fine.
Yeah.
But if you're training for a marathon, you might need something more.
Gotcha. Now, before we wrap up, I want to emphasize one more thing.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about what to eat and when to eat it, but the quality of our food choices matters too,
Oh, absolutely.
right? It's not just about hitting our macros.
No, it's about choosing nutrient-rich foods.
Yeah, like whole unprocessed food.
Exactly. Fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains.
The good stuff.
The good stuff that will actually fuel your workouts and help your body recover.
And it's not about being perfect all the time, right?
No, definitely not.
It's about making those healthy choices most of the time.
Progress over perfection, right?
Yes, exactly.
Small changes add up over time.
Wow. This has been such an insightful deep dive.
It has.
I feel like I have a whole new understanding of how to fuel my workouts.
That's great to hear.
And it's not as complicated as I thought it would be.
It doesn't have to be.
Just some simple strategies can make a big difference.
Absolutely. Consistency is key.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. I learned so much.
Me too.
I hope everyone listening did too. And remember, small changes can lead to big results.
Like him.
So keep experimenting, keep learning, and keep listening to your body.
Yes.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive